Alright, I hope this is good. Alright, this is where we left off. This is part 2 of the build. This is the one we did where we glued the pages together in the first video. I haven't touched it, so I gotta take apart any pages that are remotely stuck together. See, if you let them dry, they separate. Then you have little edges here and there. And all I do is stick my finger and hand in there and separate them because they're really stuck on the corners, which most of us will trim off. I don't, because I like the grungy look, because that's my style. That's my groove, whatever they're saying these days. So after just forcing, it doesn't really rip them, it just separates them. You don't want to go there because those are the ones we glued with the paste, and you ain't getting that apart. But at this stage, this is where you want to trim it. This one has to have the reinforcements, which we did in the last video as well. This is the reinforcement. So all we have to do on this one is trim it back. This one has the reinforcements, and it's been drying for a couple days now. So that's more than one. But this is what we're working on this week. Today. This is a freestyle build, and this is the cover, which is the absolute last thing you do. But what we're doing today is we're adding what I call in the tip-ins. On these really thick pages, I add tip-ins, which are these things. They're just 4 to 5 pieces of paper. They're oversized because I will cut them down or fold them in. But they go in the book this way, and they get glued down. So first thing I'm going to show you, and that'll add all this bulk to that little 10-page insert we have. So what I'm going to show you is, on these 3 books, I happen to be using masterboard papers. Just junky, everything you can imagine thrown on a paper. Make no sense, make no rhyme. Because that's the best part about these journals, the junk journals in general. There are no rights, there are no wrongs, no ups, there's no downs. So these are all just put on a sketch pad paper. So they're not too thick, but they are sturdy. I leave a little on the ends to make sure that they're soft and pliable, because you have to bend them to build your tip-ins. And you don't want them too thick. I think this one's really thick. It'll probably be a cover. I have stacks. Some of these are just music sheets that people can collage on or journal. And all the backs are smooth enough to write on, because that's the glory of wallpaper paste. It does not bulk up. So build your pages, or you can use what do they call them? Some days it's not worth getting out of bed because your brain don't. What do they call them? I forgot. Designer papers, or craft paper, or newspaper, but it's not thick, so I would double up on something like that. But we have this book here, which we're gonna, it's already reinforced. There's no up or right. The lettering, it's German. Nobody's going to read it anyways. But this all seems to be going, no, it's all in different directions. So it doesn't matter, because you're going to cover it up anyways. So I got all my lovely little tip-ins. And as you can see, this is all just for one journal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 are from my journal. These are all extras too. Okay. I'm going to put you over there because I'm sure we'll use you for something. So this is the super easy part. On the back cover and on the front cover, there's only one single paper. This is the one you don't want to rip, because that's where you're going to attach your front and back covers to. So I like to go back and forth. I will add a page, add a tip in. Now you'll notice all my tip ins are rough, but that's my style. You can trim them down to fit perfectly and have neat edges. I've done it, it's just not my style. For this, I don't use paste because we want something a little more flexible. So I use fabric glue. Arlene's my favorite. It works well. It dries fairly quick. So you put a fair amount on your fold in, which is only like a half inch. Like a half inch. Yep. Yeah, it's about a little over a half inch. But, you know, size of that doesn't matter. You don't want it too thick because then it makes it too difficult. And then all I do is I don't go right to the edge of the page. And now see, this is British, so now this becomes the back of the book without even realizing it. And press that in. And then I flip to what now is going to be my front. And I will add a tip in there. I go back and forth to keep the book balanced so it don't get too bulky in one area. And where did I put my glue? I'm lost. So these are sturdy journals. They stay together forever. Come on. You know, when you want your glue to work, it don't work. Come on, baby. You got it. There we go. So, more glue. And, like I said, not up against the fold, but close. You want to make sure that your journal has time to relax and gather. Now we're going to flip it. And I'm going to go to the next. See, these pages are sturdy. I don't put another page here. I'll put a page here so that it's not too bulky. You may end up with a page that has both of them back and forth, but that really does depend on how you build it. So the next page is this one, which will go here. I mean, I'm not too crazy to make sure that things are right side up. I mean, after all, it is a junk journal. So, all I do is continue to go this way. And flip back and forth. You can be as meticulous or as, I don't know, fussy as you want about how neat your pages are and stuff, but you have to do that before you start this stage. You cut your pages back. You do whatever you have to do to make them work for you. Okay, that's in there. Flip it up. Now we're back over here. So this page went here. We're going to put this one on this side. The next one. I know I'm probably confusing you, but the video should help. This will all sit because we're going to put it in a book press in a few minutes. It doesn't take long to do this part. So we have our tip in. And you know, you're only adding 10 of them. And then you're going to cover where you can see where the tip in goes in so that you don't see it anymore. And I really like that book of not being able to see my tip in. And then that one goes that way. And we're here with this one. That one on that page, it's got to go there. So you just keep going back and forth with your pages. That's going on that side. But these are absolutely a blast to build. Once we get all our tip ins in, it's not the end of the build. We got one more stage of the build, and then the embellishments start, which is where you decide everything about your book. I mean, yes, you can with your tip-ins do special papers or anything at all like that. And it's on that side, so this is here. See, these are my tip-ins. I love making the collage papers. It's a lot of fun. Masterboards. I use them for tags and pockets and embellishments and obviously tip-ins. And you'll see for the part that we're going to cover the tip-in so that you can't see the seam. We'll be doing next. We'll be covering up, where is it? We'll be covering this up so it's not noticeable when you go through the book. And that's always a nice little add-on. Okay, that went that way. Okay, so this has got to go. Yeah, perfect. Got to go on this side because we don't want upside-down seahorses. We got envelopes. Okay, so here we go. I'll get a couple more on this one, and then I'll show you how to make the tip-ins, which, you know, I mean, it's really stupidly easy. So, what do you think of my journal so far? My process. I had to come up with this because I had a medical issue where I couldn't craft, I couldn't create, and that was an insane month. And I sat here trying to figure out how I could make a journal because I'm a little obsessed with them. And I decided I was going to try an all-glued journal. And I tried several and several failures. Okay. This is the last of our tip-ins, so we get to decide which one we want to do. Yeah, I haven't seen any of this paper go through. This is a blank one. How'd I get a blank one? And a blank one. So we'll do a blank one. Why not? More tip-ins over there. This is our last tip-in. No, we got one more. Alright. But you see how simple this process is? So I couldn't sew the journals anymore. I didn't have the strength to put my ice pick or my awl through the signatures, much less, you know, the cover of a book and all of that. So I played around for a month or two, and I came up with this, and surprisingly enough, it worked, and I'm impressed with me. But that's just me. Okay, this is a tip. Okay, Waldo's going in. Gotta bend it the other way. There we go. Okay, come on, Waldo. I found Waldo books at a thrift store. I had to buy them. I've made tags, journal covers, and now tip-ins and pockets. I mean, who doesn't love Waldo? Or remember Waldo from their kids or grandchildren? We all remember Waldo. So, okay, that is the last of my tip-in. Now I'm going to close this all the way. And I have these massive books. I have a stack of them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it under there for an hour or so, let it dry. And then I will be back to putting in the covers of the, covering up the tip-ins. But at this very moment, I want to show you how to make the tip-ins. I use 4 pages of paper. I use envelopes, book pages, sketch pad, copy paper, and I don't know what that came from. But when I use an envelope, I usually cut off this extra thick part because it's going to get folded again. So I just snip it off. Why are you out? Okay. I take my 4 and I put it, you know, pretty much the way you want it. Hold them down so they don't move on you while you're gluing, because they can do that. And I just fold it in like so. I don't know if you can see that. I just folded off one of these 5 pages plus an envelope in there, which is probably all I'm going to do to that signature or tip in. I glue this, of course, and this, because we want everything to be secure. Always glue your shortest paper to the longer paper. But you don't want to glue too much, because then you have a problem. See, it's moving on me. Don't move on me. Okay. There is that. Okay. I know what I didn't do on this one, but it doesn't matter because it may not even go in these books. I didn't use a Franken paper on this one, or a masterboard. I mean, people come up with so many names now. It's always been a masterboard in my world anyways. This Arlene's glue is about done. Okay, that is like that. And I take a bunch of these bolt clips and I just secure them nice and tight, like so, all the way down the length of the paper, and let it dry. And there is your tip-in for a journal. This one is blank, but, you know, like I said, I leave the papers long because I will be trimming them or folding them in to make the book, or just outright cutting them down. So there is that process. Now remember, we had reinforced this. This is where we're going to just trim these off the best we can. Ta-da! I know I'm probably too close or too far away. If my videos aren't great, I'm sorry. I'm not a, what do you want to call it, cinematographer or any type of photographer. I play with a camera, but I don't know what I'm doing with it. But here's the next one to put in the tip-ins. I build these in sets for the simple reason that this is what it's like. This one was the one we put the securements in. But the tip-ins, they're so easy. You can put as many papers as you want. Depends on how bulky you want your book. Where's my book? Here's my book. This is, what? Yeah. 1.5 to 2 inches wide on the spine. And this is 8 by 8 roughly. You know, give a fraction here and there. The cover here is just my drop papers from coffee staining and some old, what is it, sheet music cover. This is braided twine. Same back here. This is sort of a Franken paper but they become very sturdy. Good places to put pockets. Inside, you can see where the tip-ins are. Here. And here. See, I've used pockets. I love these things. Pockets, old ephemera. I got an old card gift bag. And that has a pocket here. More pockets. That's what the tip-ins are good for, to cover up anything you want to cover up. We probably can't see way over there. But anyways, there we are. So I hope you enjoy the second stage of the build. And let me know what you think.